Good evening, everybody. Welcome to state project number 38-85, rehabilitation of bridge number 4645 in the town of Eastford. My name is Mark Burns, and I'm the project manager of the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Below is a quick list of how you can reach out to us through email or phone, and we encourage you to visit the project webpage located below. This is a quick slide on how to show closed captioning in Zoom, and you can change the different speaking language as well to select the language that you'd like to be shown. Closed captioning will also be available on YouTube after the event. As I said, this quick overview of the meeting, we're going to do some housekeeping, formal presentation of design, explaining the existing conditions and define the purpose and meaning, proposed recommendations, and there will be a live Q&A after the event. My contact information is also at the right-hand side of the screen. I'll now read this quick slide on Title VI Civil Rights. No person shall, on the basis of race, color, and national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in development of this project. We highly encourage you to fill out the voluntary post-meeting survey located at the link and QR code below. There's also a link to the department's Office of Equity page regarding Title VI. The recording of this presentation will be posted to YouTube after the event. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on Zoom and YouTube. This is another slide regarding Title VI that goes into further detail. And the same slide in Spanish. This is a quick slide on how to select the Q&A tool in Zoom. There should be a button located at the bottom of your window. It will then open up the question and answer box. You can type in your question right there and click enter, and we will answer your question following the presentation. If you're an audio only participant, please dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. If you have a question aside from the Zoom Q&A, you can reach us by email at dot-flbp@ct.gov, by phone at 860-594-2020, or in the Zoom Q&A after the presentation. And you can also visit the project webpage. Please note that comment period is open until July 30th. So if you have a question at a later time, the comment period is open for 2 weeks. Funding for this program is through the Federal Local Bridge Programs Design Managed by State, or DMS program. In the past, the Federal Local Bridge Program was an 80% federal, 20% town split for design, rights-of-way, and construction. Under DMS, design, rights-of-way, and construction phases are funded with 80% federal and 20% state funds at minimum, or 100% federal funds. Design, rights-of-way, and construction are at no cost to the town, and the department uses their resources to design the project. Now, even though we were taking on the design on behalf of the town, it is still a full partnership, and we coordinate with the town at all key project milestones to solicit input. The goal of the DMS program was to provide a streamlined approach to design using DOT resources to aid towns in keeping their bridges in a state of good repair by effectively using federal funds, to decrease typical design time from 60 months on to 24 to 36 months, and when applicable, utilize accelerated bridge construction or ABC techniques to shorten construction duration. I'll now briefly introduce the department's project team. Our division chief is Bart Sweeney. The principal engineer of the consultant design group is Derek Lassard. As I stated, I'm Mark Burns, supervising engineer. Michelle Rain is our project engineer on this project, and Kathleen Erickson is our right-of-way property agent. Representing Buck Harbor and Associates, who's the department's consultant liaison, is Anand Sasadri, project manager, and Stephanie Dubina, project engineer. This slide depicts your typical view of a bridge. Carrying the travelway, also known as the deck, is on the top. To protect vehicles and pedestrians from roadside hazards are the parapets. Supporting the deck are the beams or the superstructure of the bridge. Supporting the superstructure, which also comprises the deck, is the abutment, which will then carry the load into the ground, otherwise known as the substructure. Also shown are wing walls, which act as an earth retention system, and depending on the span length of the bridge, there might be one or more piers. Bridges are inspected on a biennial basis and are given a condition rating on a scale of 1 to 9, with 9 being in excellent condition and 1 being in imminent failure. Please don't let that concern you, because as these bridges are inspected frequently, if there was any cause for concern, our bridge safety team would inform the town to take corrective action. This is a slide depicting different types of concrete deterioration. Efflorescence in the top left is a chemical reaction with the water and the chemicals inside concrete, which causes this white substance to leach out. Honeycombing is a result of pore setup. So when the forms are removed, the concrete results in these gaps as shown. Scaling is a issue that concerns when there's surface cracks or due to temperature. Map cracking is an issue that occurs when there is too much freeze thaw with water infiltration, which causes the cracks. And a more severe case of cracking is spalling, when the concrete is deteriorated to the point that the reinforcement steel is exposed. I'll now turn over to Deb Richards, first selectwoman of the town of Eastford, for some remarks. Yep.
Thanks, Mark. So on behalf of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Eastford, I'd like to welcome everyone to the virtual public information meeting for the town of Eastford Ashford Road Bridge Project. The town of Eastford is working in partnership with the CTDOT and CHA Consulting for this bridge replacement project. CHA and CTDOT have shown open communication and a willingness to answer all the town's questions regarding this process. I look forward to tonight's presentation and open discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. I'll now turn over to Steph Dubina for the formal presentation. Steph?
Hi, Mark. Thank you. As Mark noted, my name is Stephanie Dubina. I work for CHA as a consultant liaison engineer on behalf of the Department of Transportation. This is a project that I am working on. And on a personal note, I just like to say that I am a town resident of Eastford myself. So I am very familiar with the bridge site and the project location. And I'm excited to introduce this to the community and just provide an improved bridge for years to come. So with that, I'm sharing here a project location map of the bridge site. This yellow circle, it shows bridge number 04645, located on Ashford Road in the town of Eastford. Ashford Road is north to south at the project location, and Bigelow Brook flows below the roadway from a west to east direction. Here, highlighted in white dashed line, is the Natchhog Trail that runs across the roadway and follows the southern banks of Bigelow Brook. It crosses at the southern approach of Ashford Road over the bridge. And we've highlighted the house number 82 lot as this location has the part of the Natchhog Trail included in it, and it's very close to the bridge site itself. Also included on this map is the Westford Road intersection, which is about a quarter of a mile to the north of the bridge site. And off of the page to the south, approximately 3/4 of a mile, is the town of Ashford, Eastford town line, where Ashford Road becomes floating road. Looking at the Ashford Road roadway, it has two travel lanes unstriped as seen in this photo. The roadway width is 20 feet at the bridge site. The average daily traffic count is 563 vehicles per day, and that's based on traffic counts conducted in October of 2023. The speed limit at this location is 30 miles per hour, and that will also be our design speed for the project. With that being said, the 85th percentile speed for this location was calculated to be 50 miles per hour during those traffic counts that were completed last year. And finally, Ashford Road is identified as a rural local road. So this bridge was constructed in 1937, which makes it 87 years old. It's a single span structure with a span length of 27 feet, 7 inches. It has a superstructure comprised of steel beams and a concrete deck. Its substructure are stone masonry gravity wall abutments and flared stone masonry wing walls. The bridge is considered to be a large structure because it has a watershed of 24.4 square miles. And because it's a large structure, it also has a 100-year design storm. The hydraulic clear span of a bridge is measured from abutment to abutment. In this case, the hydraulic clear span of this bridge is much shorter than the 1.2 times bank full width of the channel, which is 51 feet 6 inches. In this photo, you see this blue line, this blue dashed line shown here. This line represents the 100-year design storm. You will notice that the blue line is above the bottom of the bridge and the bottom of the roadway. The underclearance of a bridge is the difference between that 100-year storm elevation and the low chord elevation of the bridge, which in this case is the bottom of the steel beam. So in this case, the bridge has an underclearance of negative 3.1 feet, which is obviously greater than the 2-foot minimum standard. Likewise, freeboard, shown here, is the difference between that 100-year storm elevation and the lowest point of the roadway. In this case, the lowest point of the roadway is located south of the bridge itself. But again, you'll see that there is a difference of negative 1.5 feet of freeboard, which is, again, does not meet the minimum 1-foot standard. And finally, the backwater elevation at this site is 3.3 feet, which is greater than the 1-foot maximum standard. Additionally, this bridge is considered to be scour critical as its existing footings are undermined and missing sections. As Mark mentioned earlier in the presentation, bridges are inspected every 2 years by the department, and after that, a bridge inspection report is written up. This table represents a summary of the inspection report that was completed in September of 2022. As you'll see, we have the deck rated to be in satisfactory condition, the approach rated to be in fair condition, the superstructure is rated to be in fair condition, the substructure is rated in poor condition because of the condition of the abutment footings being undermined and missing sections. And the channel and channel protection are also rated in poor condition because of erosion within the channel itself. I'd also like to note that while listed in fair condition, the bridge railing and the guide railing do not meet current safety standards. Here are some photos of the bridge site. This top left photo is an east outlet elevation view of the bridge. This top right photo is a west inlet elevation view of the bridge. This arrow shows that the channel extends beyond the south abutment. This bottom left photo is a photo of Ashford Road looking over the bridge north. And this bottom right photo is Ashford Road looking south over the bridge. This top left photo shows the underside of the bridge deck. It shows the steel beams and the masonry wall abutment. This top right photo shows the deterioration of the concrete curb at the west fascia. This bottom left photo shows the north stone masonry wall and that concrete bridge seat. This bottom right photo shows steep southeast approach embankment, and you'll see voids within the masonry beyond the wing wall. This top left photo is a photo of the Natchog Trail on the west side of Ashford Road. And as I mentioned, it runs along the southern bank of Bigelow Brook. This photo is the driveway of house number 82, which is located immediately southeast of the bridge and abuts the Natchog Trail, which is highlighted with this red arrow here. This bottom left photo shows a paved leak-off at the southwest embankment. And this bottom right photo shows the condition of the concrete pavement and that substandard bridge rail. And finally, this is an upstream channel view of Bigelow Brook looking west. And this is a downstream channel of Bigelow Brook looking east. As we reviewed the existing conditions and came up with preliminary engineering for this project, we came up with a purpose and need statement. The statement includes the following. We wanted to address the poor condition of the substructure, increase the roadway width to 22 feet to meet FHWA standards, eliminate the scour condition of the bridge, scour critical condition of the bridge, replace the bridge and the approach railing systems to meet current safety standards, improve the hydraulic adequacy and hydraulic performance of the bridge, and finally, the bridge has exceeded its 75-year service life. With that, it was concluded that the proposed rehabilitation should be a full bridge replacement. And we just like to note that, like Mark said earlier, despite the deficiencies, this bridge is considered safe for the traveling public, and it is regularly inspected by the DOT. The proposed structure is a new pre-stressed concrete deck unit bridge. It will have a 75-year service life with minimal maintenance. It'll carry AASHTO design, legal and permit vehicles with no weight restrictions. It'll provide abutments and flared wing walls that are founded on bedrock, so there's no scour concerns. It'll provide an open bridge rail system and approach rail system to meet current safety standards. It'll have an improved 24-foot roadway with improved drainage features. The proposed project will also have a number of hydraulic performance improvements. The span of the bridge itself will be widened to 58 feet 6 inches, which provides that 1.2 times bank full width for a clear span of 52 feet. The roadway profile will be raised by 1 foot. The increased underclearance will be provided with the passage of the 100-year storm. So it'll be increased from negative 3.1 feet to 0.4 of a foot. It'll also provide improved freeboard. So there will no longer be roadway overtopping during a 100-year storm, and it'll go from negative 1.5 feet to 1.9 feet. It'll also reduce the backwater elevation from 3.3 feet to 0.4 of a foot. Finally, the scour deficiency will be eliminated with those foundations bearing on bedrock. Here are some aesthetics for the proposed bridge. These are some examples in the photos. They will have a concrete form liner to simulate stones. So this is an example of a wing wall with that form liner. And this is an end block with another stone form liner. It'll also have a metallized bridge rail of the color of the town's choice. In these examples shown, they're black. So our recommended alternate is that pre-stressed concrete deck unit bridge. This is a cross-sectional view of the bridge. This is what it would look like if the bridge were to be cut in half. The proposed superstructure is comprised of 7 18-inch deep pre-stressed concrete deck units with a 6-inch topping slab. It'll carry 2 12-foot travel lanes with a curb-to-curb width of 24 feet in total. It'll also provide that 3-tube curb-mounted bridge rail system attached to the bridge's fascia. This is a plan view of the bridge. Just to orient you, north is pointed up and to the right. The roadway in this plan is from south to north, and Bigelow Brook flows from west to east. You'll see the orange represents the pre-stressed concrete deck unit bridge that has a clear span of structure span of 58 feet 6 inches and provides a hydraulic clear span of 52 feet total. The yellow represents the constructed portions of the Ashford Road, and the gray represent the proposed flared wing walls that will be set on bedrock located upstream and downstream of the bridge. This is an east elevation view of the bridge. Again, you see that 58-foot 6-inch overall span. The orange represents the pre-stressed concrete deck units with the open bridge rail. The gray are the wing walls with spread footings founded on bedrock, and any exposed abutment sections will have that stamped concrete form liner to simulate stone masonry. And the pink represents the guide rails. Highlighted here in green, you'll see that 100-year storm elevation, and you'll notice that it is located below the beam's low chord elevation itself, below the bridge, and below the roadway low point, which gives a hydraulic underclearance of 0.4 of a foot and freeboard of 1.9 feet during 100-year design storm. So there will be no overtopping of the roadway. And the backwater elevation will also be improved to 0.4 of a foot. So overall, this is a great improvement of the existing conditions, which is the main reason why this pre-stressed concrete deck unit bridge was selected for this site. This is a proposed roadway plan of the site. Again, north is pointed up and to the right. The orange, and I'm sorry, I'll go back. The Ashford Road is from south to north, and Bigelow Brook flows from west to east. The orange represents the pre-stressed concrete deck unit bridge, and the yellow represents the reconstructed portion of Ashford Road, which is approximately 385 feet. As part of this project, drainage improvements are proposed along Ashford Road, and they include some catch basins and drainage swales. There will also be improvements made to the 2 gravel pull-off areas located north of the bridge that are used by anglers and hikers. The trail itself, Natchog Trail itself, the entrances to the bridge from the roadway will be slightly redirected to provide the space needed for the proposed wing walls and guide rails that are necessary. And a crosswalk is proposed at the bridge's south approach to provide access for pedestrians using the trail and crossing the roadway. This is a profile of the roadway. We are proposing a 1-foot raise in the roadway profile, and that's to improve the hydraulics. And we can only propose a 1-foot raise due to the constraints of the driveway at house number 82. During construction, the roadway will remain closed and traffic will be redirected with an 8-mile detour. This is the bridge site and the red line shows the detour. There will be no difference in response by the Eastford Independent Fire Company to emergencies north of the bridge. And the Eastford Fire Company and the Ashford Fire Department, which is located southwest of the bridge, will cooperatively respond to any emergencies on Ashford Road, located south of the bridge. Looking at environmental impacts, there will be some temporary and permanent wetland impacts. There will be some tree clearing along the roadway. Best management practices will be maintained for the fish and wildlife during construction. We are proposing that improved pull-off area for anglers and hikers. And we are coordinating with the Connecticut Forest and Park Association and abutting landowners for any work on the Natchog Trail. And best management practices will be met during construction as this is within a public drinking watershed. And finally, phase 1 archaeological studies are underway for this site. We do anticipate some environmental permits, one being the Town of Eastford Inland Wetland Permit. Also the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Flood Management Certification Memo of Understanding, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers self-verification notification. Utility impacts that are anticipated are that the overhead utilities located on the west side of the roadway will be temporarily relocated during construction. This is the rights-of-way plan for the site. It's zoomed in a little closer for everyone to see better. Again, north is pointed up and to the right. Ashford Road is from south to north, and Bigelow Brook flows from west to east. There are some rights-of-way impacts to 4 separate properties at the project site. There will be 4 permanent takes shown in orange for the new wing walls for the construction and the maintenance of those. There will also be some drainage rights-of-way easements for the drainage structures, the catch basins and drainage swales that are proposed to provide drainage improvements. These will be maintained by the Town of Eastford. There's also a temporary construction easement for the relocation of the overhead utilities. And there, as seen in these graded areas, there are some permanent slope easements. There are also some several rights, including the rights to reconstruct the driveways south of the bridge, the right to relocate the trail, Natchog Trail shown in purple here and here, the right to reconstruct the gravel pull-off areas north of the bridge, and the rights to remove and reset some stone walls located north of the bridge. I'm now going to pass it along to Kathleen Erickson from the department's rights-of-way unit to go through the rights-of-way process.
Thank you, Stephanie. So again, my name is Kathleen Erickson, and I'm an assistant project coordinator with the department's Division of Rights-of-Way. Our office is responsible for acquiring the property rights that are needed for transportation projects in the state. As mentioned previously, this project will require the acquisition of property rights. So I just want to give you a brief overview of our acquisition process. However, before I get further into that, I would like to mention that the specific property impacts for this project are still being finalized, and they may change as the design progresses. Also, any required property rights will be acquired in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes Sections 13A-73 and 13A-98E, as well as the Uniform Act. And if you go to the next slide, please. So the right-of-way acquisition process begins once the design has progressed to development milestone and all the impacts from the project have been determined. At that point, each affected property owner will receive from our office a formal letter of intent to acquire, along with a property map which depicts the exact property rights to be acquired. And you can see on the screen here a sample of what those property maps look like. Next, our office will determine the fair market value of those property rights, which will be used to establish an offer of just compensation. That offer will be sent out to the property owner in writing, and a right-of-way agent will be available to meet with the property owner to explain the project, go over the specific impacts to their property, and to explain the state's offer. The property owner will have a reasonable amount of time, typically 30 days, to consider the state's offer and to enter into negotiations. Once an agreement is reached, the department will prepare all the necessary paperwork to record the deed and the property map on the town land records. However, if an agreement cannot be reached, in order to keep on schedule, the department may acquire the necessary property rights through its power of eminent domain. In that event, the state will file a notice of condemnation in the Superior Court, along with a monetary deposit in the amount of the state's offer. The owner would have 6 months from the date to file an appeal if they felt that the state's offer was inadequate. Whether or not the owner chooses to appeal, the money deposited in the court is available to be withdrawn by the owner at any time. It is important to note, though, that the state will only acquire property rights that are needed for the project. If there are any questions regarding the right-of-way acquisition process, I can answer them for you during the Q&A portion of tonight's meeting. But for now, I'm going to turn it back over to Stephanie to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Kathleen. So now I'd like to just summarize my part of the presentation with the project schedule. We're looking to start construction in the spring of 2027. The construction duration is 1 construction season, which is approximately 8 months. The estimated construction cost is $4,410,000. And that's with 80% federal funds and 20% state funds, with no cost to the town of Eastford. I'd also like to note that the cost and the schedule are still preliminary, so they may change as we move forward with the design. With that, that concludes my portion of the presentation, and I'm going to pass it over to Michelle Rame from the Department of Transportation to continue.
Thank you, Stephanie. Great job. So it is now time for the question and answer portion of the presentation. I just want to say that the comment period is open now till July 30th of 2024. You can send questions to our email, dot-flbp@ct.gov, or call them in by phone at 860-594-2020, or by our live question and answer function through Zoom tonight. Or you can also visit our project webpage, which is, the link is posted there, and I also posted it in the chat. I currently don't have any questions right now, but we will wait and give everybody a chance to post any questions if they have any. I also want to take a quick moment to mention that I will be posting a link in the chat for you to fill out our volunteer survey after this presentation. We would greatly appreciate that as well. Again, we really appreciate everybody for coming out tonight. And if you can't think of any questions right now, but you think of something later, you have until July 30th. Our question and answers comment period is open till then. And you can send us an email at dot-flbp@ct.gov or call in your questions at 860-594-2020 and leave us a voicemail. We have a bunch of information that's really great and useful out on our project webpage, which I'll link again in the chat. And we'll keep the live Q&A open for another minute or so to give you a chance if you think of anything.
We had a question come in regarding the survey.
Oh, yep. Does the volunteer survey reference this project? Voluntary survey reference this project?
Be sure about that. I think it's more just related to Title VI. It's looking for more demographic information. Actually, yes, to answer that question, it does reference the survey. Or the project number, excuse me. So it speaks to this project.
Thanks for confirming that. Okay, perfect. Thanks. I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. So with that, I think we're going to close up our question and answer session. But again, I'm just going to reiterate that the comment period is open until July 30th. And you can send any questions you have until then through email at dot-flbp@ct.gov or by phone at 860-594-2020. Thank you for joining us, and everybody did a great job on the presentation. I hope you all have a great evening. Take care.
Thank you. Great job, everyone.
Thanks, Deb.
So just as you were wrapping up, I got a visitor on my shoulder. Unfortunately, it's the background's blurred, but
The kitty.
Oh.
like literally in the middle of the talk, and he's just like, "Hey, can we come in? Can I come visit you now?"
Cute.
Take care, everyone.
This is not a good time.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Have a
great job,
great night.
Steph.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Great job, everyone.
Definitely.
Good job, Steph.
Bye.
Yeah.